And with that, we are live. Hi there. Welcome, everybody, to Cast Iron Wednesday, which is a long time running weekly tradition on many YouTube cooking channels where a lot of people have fun doing a cast iron video on Wednesday. In this case, welcome very much to my channel and my kitchen where I've been doing a live video on Cast Iron Wednesday for about the past 2.5 years now, as strange as it seems. And people seem to enjoy this enough to show up here every week. And I can only thank you very much because, yes, we are here to do some cooking in cast iron. And happy Valentine's Day as well, or almost Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is, of course, a week from yesterday. Next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. So this is the last cast iron Wednesday before then, which is why, of course, we are doing some Valentine stuff, or at least some sweet baking tonight in cast iron. Although, as always, the subject is pretty much open for discussion. So, hello again to everybody, to Kay Clock and RT Scott, Janet Batista, and hello, Val's Black Cats Rules, Pipgorn, and Hippie Longshanks, John Agan, Terry Sinchev, Rick Stumbow, quite a few people, actually. I can't really name them all at this point, but nonetheless, thank you so much. I know you've been chatting for a little while. I hope you've been enjoying yourselves. Well, indeed, that Dutch oven is bigger than I thought. Oh, yes. Okay, let's get started with this because this is, in fact, yes. This year, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like this year a fair number of stores have been pushing these enameled heart-shaped cast iron Dutch ovens. I mean, they've been doing these for years, yes, but I do believe we've seen more of these this year than in previous years. That could be because of the popularity of cast iron, might even be maybe society recovering from the pandemic, who can say? But nonetheless, this is an enameled cast iron Dutch oven. It's about 2 quarts in size, in fact. As you can see, it's about this yay big as far as my hand is. I've had this one actually for about 3 years now. Unfortunately, it looks like I somehow managed to chip the side of it, but the inside has been doing just fine these past 3 years. This particular one, well, in fact, every one of these cast iron and enamel cast iron Dutch ovens, every one is Asian made, except unless you're lucky enough to get one that might have been made by Le Creuset. Because, well, the truth is that there are no enamel cast iron manufacturers, correction, no major American cast iron enameled manufacturers left in the United States, and there hasn't been for decades, unfortunately. It is true that one of the newer, smaller cast iron manufacturers, that would be Burrow Furnace, in fact, of the Hudson Valley region of New York State, they are in fact running their own enamelware, and they are indeed producing enamel coated cast iron. Although they are, of course, a very small foundry, they make all of their pans by hand, in fact. So anything really produced by Burrow Furnace is extremely rare. On the other hand, these Asian-made cast iron Dutch ovens, as I mentioned, they have been really pushing them this year, and you can get them at a reasonably inexpensive price if you go to places like, oh, I don't know, TJ Maxx, for instance. I believe they're on sale even at places. I've even seen them at Target. So we're talking home goods and the like, and quite a few of them can be ordered online as well. And yeah, they are a lot of fun. They are Dutch ovens, and you can do everything with them that you can do in a Dutch oven. You can bake, you can broil, and you can have a lot of fun with it. One thing that they are also good for, which not many people seem to be using it for, these things also make excellent cake pans. And that's what I like doing, in fact, with this, especially around Valentine's Day of this year. Um, it is something of a luxury item, I guess, because, well, yes and no. It's a Dutch oven, and you don't have to only use it. Oh, good, the oven's ready. You don't have to only use it on Valentine's Day. You can, of course, use it at any time of the year, and there's no reason not to. So it's if you want a nice 2-quart Dutch oven, this would not be a bad deal to pick up. Of course, naturally, this time of year is when they sell them, and a lot of people use them as well. So, what about Lodge Black Queen? Lodge's enamel cast iron is in fact made in China. That is the truth. Yes, there is actually a either they run a foundry in China, or they have a contract with a Chinese-made manufacturer where they manufacturer Lodge's enameled cast iron. However, they are made indeed according to Lodge's very strict quality control standards. So, as far as enamel cast iron is concerned, Lodge's enamel cast iron is considered to be very high up there. I have a big Lodge enameled Dutch oven myself. Um, And really, the only reason not to get an enameled cast iron, well, assuming you have a need for it, that is if you have political or other personal reasons not to use Chinese cast iron cookware. Because I've been saying this for years, and I will continue saying this unless one day I'm proven wrong, and so far that hasn't happened. That cast iron cookware made in China, including enameled cast iron, is safe for cooking. As I said, there is a lot of politics involved with that, and I don't get into those politics because it gets aside from the cooking. On the other hand, I am not trying to force my viewpoint on anyone as far as the politics of China is concerned. And if you don't want to use Chinese cast iron, you certainly do not have to, but it is still safe for cooking. And that's really all that needs to be said, quite frankly, because I would much rather have fun with this. So, having said all that, well, let's get down to a little bit of baking because I've got a couple of things to do here. I have been using a recipe for a chocolate cake from my website for the past several years now that I'm actually quite proud of. I've done a fair amount of the prep work for it already, so this is not going to take very long. Let me see. In that, I've already mixed together the dry ingredients, and in fact, I'll move the camera over closer to there too, um, so that we can actually. I shouldn't just move these around so that you can get a better view here. But this is a nice, simple one large bowl recipe for making a chocolate cake. And that recipe, as I said, is on my website. If you look under chocolate cobbler cake, you will find it. Because it started out as a cobbler recipe, but became a full-blown chocolate cake. Anyway, I've got and it's really a very basic chocolate cake recipe too. We've got flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, and salt, all nicely whisked together. At which point now I've got to start adding the wet ingredients. Hey, I even took the time to take my eggs out in advance. How about that? And yeah, I've got to be careful with these eggs because, yes, I know all about how eggs are these days. So we are doing now. Oh dear, I did forget something. I need a. No, actually, I have it right here. Okay, yeah, good. I have the mixer for that. Oh, hand mixer. A little story about this, and no, actually, it does not involve tragedy, and it does not involve a broken stand mixer. Rather, it's me trying to avoid a broken stand mixer. So anyway, from here, we've got 3 eggs. One, do this right. 2, like I said, let's get a little closer if we can here. Let me do this right here. Here we go. There we go. A little bit better view as well. That way you also get to see my trusty tub of Crisco. 2 and 3. Yeah, this is one of those recipes, as I said, that is done together entirely in one bowl. because I have liked the results of this. It produces a nice, dense but moist chocolate cake. So I have really no complaints about the way this is done. So that also means I get to move around here. I'll start this out and I'll tell you about this in just a couple of minutes. There we go. This won't take long anyway. Nice low batter here because that's how we start with mixing ingredients, of course. All right. Why am I using a hand mixer? As I said, no, my stand mixer did not break. However, I have become increasingly concerned that I did a bad thing a couple of months ago when I actually took it apart to clean it. Because ever since I did that, the that stand mixer, the KitchenAid stand mixer, has been whoops, wrong way, has been extremely loud every time I use it. It works, and I have not felt any grinding or any indication that there's anything broken in there, except that again, it's extremely loud. It's much louder than it had been beforehand. And that has really been kind of like weighing on my mind. I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I did everything right. And so finally, I made the decision that, I'll turn this up a little bit. There we go. I finally made the decision, come on, that I'm just going to have that stand mixer professionally cleaned before something happens to it. But meanwhile, of course, well, I wanted to make a cake, and so that means I had to get myself a decent mixer. Boy, this is thick. Yeah, I've always been using a stand mixer up until now. Okay, anyway, so far we've got 2 large eggs, 1 cup of buttermilk. Now we have to add more liquid, which means, let's do this in. What I also need to do is prepare a pot of black coffee. Hmm. Well, actually, I'm just going to cheat more or less and simply heat up a cup of water in the microwave. That way, it'll only take a couple of minutes. Yeah, that's the secret, by the way, to having a nice, rich chocolate cake, such as Devil's Food Cake. You use coffee in the batter. But let's slowly keep mixing this in. I probably made a mistake anyway by dumping in all of that buttermilk at once. I should have done it a little bit at a time. Nonetheless, it is still coming together. And anyway, as I said, I have a lot more liquid to mix into this as it is. Hi, Trouble. What are you doing down there, huh? Oh, you're wondering what this is. You've never heard this thing before. Anyway, whoops, keep doing that. While I'm waiting, let's see here. By the way, Christine Borgatti, my KitchenAid mixer is a good 50 years old and I never cleaned it. Yeah. Now, as I said, that was my own fault, but I would rather have it taken care of before it breaks. That's my concern. Yeah. Turn to high instead of low. Well, I think I could safely say, oh, yeah, I'm obviously the only one who had, well, yeah, it looks like a hot mess because we've only just started yet. Um, but yeah, I'm sure I'm the only person who has turned to high instead of low with my mixer. No one's ever done that before. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, you didn't feed the sink an egg. Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't sacrifice an egg. I'm in trouble tonight. Turner Fowler, I have got 2 enamel cast iron Dutch ovens, a 5 quart and a 7.5 quart, and I enjoy using them both. Yes, there are a lot of advantages to using this stuff, to using enamel cast iron. Certainly, no question about that. It's a lot of fun. Enamel cast iron has advantages. You okay, Trouble? Has advantages and disadvantages over bare cast iron. I mean, of course, you can use it much better with acidic foods, for instance, like say mixing pasta and tomato sauces, for instance. That's a good thing. It's not as good at searing meat. For searing meat, you really want to do bare cast iron. And I had better get my glove so that I don't accidentally uh, burn myself with hot water from this thing because no, nobody's ever done that before either. Let's do this right. Careful here. There we go. That was close. Oh, yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, we've got some chaos in the making here. Well, I had just better be careful. And this, yeah, I am not a coffee drinker, quite frankly. No, I've never, all my life, I've just never been one for the taste of coffee. It's nothing personal. I just never developed a taste for it. So the only thing I ever use coffee for is baking, like I'm doing right now. So put in a nice heaping teaspoon, instant coffee. And there we go. 1 cup of black coffee. Yay for modern technology. And to this, I won't just dump it in. Have to do it a little bit at a time, which I should have done with the buttermilk. Oh well, there's still more liquid to go. So we will start here and move along. All I can do is trust it. Oops. There we go. That's a little better. There we go. It's looking a little better now. And a little bit more. Don't want to splash it all over the place. This is what I should have done with the buttermilk. I even said this, I think, only about a week ago. You don't add all of your liquids all at once. And I made a mistake, so I'm paying for it. But it looks a little better now. I'll say that much. And a little more. There we go. Patience is really what I need more than anything else. Patience. Patience, young Jedi, except that I'm neither young nor a Jedi. There we go. This is definitely looking much better now. Besides, this is a nice quality hand mixer too. It's a Black & Decker. I considered getting a cheap Walmart brand hand mixer, but nah. Quite frankly, it's like you get what you pay for. And I think I would rather, besides, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be using this thing until I get my stand mixer cleaned. And a little bit more. There we go. Now this is looking a lot more like cake batter, I would say. In fact, here we go. I didn't turn it to high this time. Let me break out my spatula, wipe down the sides. There we go. Oops. Gotta be careful. And bam. There, that takes care of the rest of that. So far, so good. Well, I would say that's an improvement over how it was a couple of minutes ago. But let's see what we have next here. I don't have these things memorized, although we are almost done at this point. Let me see. From this point, in fact, as a matter of fact, we're adding more liquid, and that would be 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. This is to help keep it moist. So I think I could safely mix it all in this time because I've done a decent enough job softening or getting the batter to the right consistency, which means, there we go. Meanwhile, you need to run some chata. Chata. I don't even know what chata is. I need to ask if you could explain that. No offense. How are you doing, Papa Dan? Yes. And hello as well to Honey Badger. Nonetheless, this is the part here where if I had any youngsters watching, they would probably be getting ready to lick the bowl right now, and I can't say I blame them. It smells wonderful, which means I only have one more ingredient, and I better get into the refrigerator for that. That would be a little bit of vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons to be precise. Is that right? Yes, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. So a little bit here and a little bit there. That should be enough. All right. If you're able to afford it, I very highly recommend, and if you bake regularly, I very highly recommend making the effort and an investment to make your own vanilla extract. Because once you do that, you have pretty much an infinite supply of some of the finest vanilla extract on the planet at your fingertips. You save a lot of money in the long run because how much does vanilla extract cost these days? We're talking like $5 or $6 or $9 for a little 2-ounce container of that. Nonetheless, look at that. Turn this off. There we go. Lo and behold, I would say we have cake batter, which means the next step is, of course, I had better move this to one side carefully and get down to greasing and flouring the pan. Because yeah, that's the other thing. I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. I preheated my cast iron, but this time I'm actually doing the greasing and flouring bit, which means the best way to do that, of course, is by hand, which is exactly what I'm doing. It's probably faster as well, so that I won't waste too much of your precious time. And I'm not being sarcastic either. Get that, especially around the edges. Fortunately, this is, there aren't very many edges in this cake pan. It is a cake pan. That's what we're using it for. To this, laying down as well some parchment paper. I did my best to do my prep work and cut this up in advance. Press that down as best as I can. There we are. Good enough. Because, of course, when the cake comes out, we're going to be covering it with frosting anyway. And maybe even put just a tad of grease over the parchment paper. And then to this, next we actually have to flour it. Or in this case, we're going to cocoa it. Because with a chocolate cake, I mean, I know you don't want flour stains on the outside of the cake, which is why a lot of people actually dust the inside of it with cocoa. Let me wash off my hands very quickly, get that grease from the Crisco off my hands. Once the cake is in the oven anyway, I'll have some time to chat, and then we'll get on to the next project. Now, this is yet another thing I learned the hard way, and I'm hoping I'm doing it right. That is, as far as dusting hold on, I've got to get a better view for you folks again. My apologies here. There we go, that's a little better. Move this for you. Yeah, got a nice little wire sifter here so that we only need a little bit of this. It should hopefully be enough. There we go. So far, so good. Actually, I'm pretty sure I need more than that. That's probably enough there because I need to be generous. Yeah, actually, we'll do it this way. Sift it in best as we can. Oh, did I tell you I'm not a professional baker? I think I say that about everything. I'm not a professional anything. I've tried a bunch of things, but I am not an expert at any of them. I'm not a chef. I am not a professional baker. I'm just an amateur hobbyist who has a lot of fun doing these things. Oh, damn it. Of course, I'm getting the cocoa all over the place. What else is new? Call me surprised. Actually, don't call me surprised. Come on. Do this right here. Ugh. All right, and let's get this out of the way so that I don't spill it. Because, yeah, I know. I've got a mess to clean up. What else is new? Anybody who bakes, I know you're used to that. I know they talk about those sitcoms usually where, well, fortunately, this is just my cutting board here, where dad destroys the kitchen trying to make a cake for mom. It's actually not that hard, although I'm doing a pretty good job making a mess here nonetheless. That should be more than enough, I think. All right. As I said, I'll be wiping all this off of the cutting board too. So that means we'll get this out of the way finally, and that means now we get to add, I'll put this on the Crisco, get that out of the way. And now we get to add the cake batter carefully. All right, here comes another possibility of an accident. So best I can do is be careful. Besides, this is a pretty rich, this batter, this, yeah, this cake recipe rises very well. As I mentioned, I'm proud of it. And it does seem like the amount is just right to fit into this 2 quart um, cake pan. Again, that's essentially what it is tonight. So this looks just about right. And it's going to go into the oven for maybe about 45 minutes or so. Here's another thing I've learned, and I really want to try tonight. In that, yes, you can actually measure the temperature of a cake to determine when it's done. Got to wash my hands again. The temperature of a finished cake supposedly is about 205 degrees Fahrenheit, or in other words, a few degrees below the boiling point of water. If it goes over the boiling point of water, then the cake can dry out, and that's what happens when you get a dry cake. Anyway, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ah, there we go. Didn't make too much of a mess, did I? Oh no, just this cocoa powder all over the place, which, as I said, I will have to clean up and wash off anyway. Let me get some of this at least. There we go. It's not quite as bad as cornstarch, but it's close. So I will do this, wash off my hands one more time. Uh, Thank you for your patience, everyone. As I think I say every week. And that takes care of part one. All right. Let's get up this way so you can see my ugly mug. And thank you so much to everybody. Okay. Turner Fowler, we have thawed out here in North Texas, but for 2 days we had rain. Thursday will be nice. Well, congratulations, and I'm glad to hear that. So you're not as freezing as we are. We're actually back up to about 40 degrees here in New York as well. So we all know it's done when the chaos alarm goes off. Well, so far, no sign of that, and hopefully it'll stay that way. 80% proof, 40% alcohol. Most vodka flavors are sometimes, or 90 proof, like Kraken. We're talking about alcohol here. I should check these comments and see why we're talking about alcohol. If you're talking about making vanilla extract, then I can only agree with that. Cocoa powder always gets there, Val's Black Cats. Yes, absolutely. So now to set the chaos alarm. Well, thank you very much for the vote of confidence. I measure the temperature every time I cook in my large bunt. Yes, exactly. And again, cooking by temperature is one of those things I've learned the hard way. But nonetheless, um, that was, oh, and hello, Cynthia Wesley as well. Weather messing up internet. I had an internet outage for a few minutes earlier today, too. But so far, things seem to be doing pretty good right now. Hmm. And as always, by the way, we are, of course, open, as I say here, open to everybody for questions and answers regarding cast iron. Please feel free to throw out your questions about your KitchenAid. We purchased food grade grease and packed the drive gears. I hear you state you cleaned your unit. If there's little or no grease, it will definitely make some racket. Yeah, that's my worry. That's why, as I said, I figured it's better to avoid, to have this thing looked at before it breaks. So, my phone too. So, I'm not sure if I'm just being paranoid or if I'm actually taking a real precaution, but I figured it would be less expensive in the long run to just have to have it cleaned than to actually have to have it repaired if something breaks. So yeah, I guess the lesson learned here is that I'm going to leave cleaning my KitchenAid to the professionals from now on. Yes, it can be done. I am definitely not skilled enough at it. And it could have been worse. I mean, I don't think I've broken anything yet. And hopefully, yet is how it is going to stay. Okay. Yeah, I make vanilla extract from Madagascar vanilla beans. It's easy to make and better. You can buy at the price. I agree there. There is, by the way, I'm going to type this into the chat as well. They're not paying me for this, but there is a website out there called Beanilla. That's probably about the most popular and probably the least expensive, relatively speaking, source for vanilla beans on the internet. Beanilla. I ordered my vanilla beans from there when I have to replenish them. I know beans, vanilla beans, like everything else, are pretty expensive. So, but investing in vanilla beans and making your own vanilla extract is an invest. The initial investment can be, oh, I don't know, probably like about $25 to $30 or so for a good set of for a set of vanilla beans. And by the way, you can use the B grade beans. You don't have to use the A grade beans for vanilla extract. And once you've invested in that, well, it's going to last you at least a few years. So if you bake on a regular basis, again, the savings is going to be significant because you get a great deal more vanilla extract with your investment than you could buy in the store these days. I mean, about 25 to $30. How much vanilla extract will that get you? If you're lucky, you might go to TJ Maxx or something, and in their kitchen section, you may be able to pick up a 6 ounce bottle of vanilla extract for about $10. So there's an idea of how much you're going to be saving. That means that you might be getting maybe 12 ounces of vanilla extract if you just buy it at the store. And then once it's gone, it's gone. On the other hand, of course, you can replenish your vanilla extract with alcohol, and that's where the alcohol came in. I have no doubt about that. Um, so that you can have pretty much an unlimited supply of vanilla extract. Okay. Not only am I a cast iron aholic, I'm a bean aholic. Yes, exactly. So I know where you're coming from there. I know my cakes are done when the cake pulls out from the sides and the toothpick comes out clean, you know it's done. Yes, that does work. But at the same time, a dried out cake will do that. So, which is why I'm going to make sure and of course, silly me, I did not check the time it went into the oven. I think it's been about between 5 and 10 minutes by now. Okay, North Toronto. What about this? I've been streaming. Well, thank you. North Toronto. Yeah, K clock. I'm in New York City. Um, okay. Having done this, let's take a look at some more cast iron, folks, because as I mentioned, I've got a part two of this coming up. So that means now we get to look at some other cast iron, like specifically, you may have seen this, for instance, for sale at Walmart, and that's exactly what this is. Although I found this for like maybe $2, I think, at a flea market. So yeah, this is the. It's just like the cookie skillet that they sell at Christmas, and indeed at this time of year as well. But as you can see, it's nice and heart shaped. And in addition, I'm trying something else. Did I get some of this batter in this pan? Yes, I did. Now I'm going to have to wipe this out. Well, yeah, I spilled some of the batter. My bad. But what do we have here? Well, we have a modern Lodge cast iron skillet, a number 5 size, or as they say, a Lodge 8-inch cast iron skillet, which, as you can see, other than the shadow from the light there, this is in fact they made this for their 120th anniversary, which means it was 5 going on 6 years ago. But nonetheless, it is, as I said, this is a 8-inch number 5 size skillet. And I've had the idea that I'm going to make some heart cookies. And I went and got some cookie cutters, but I made sure they're metal cookie cutters. So that I'm just simply going to put the cookie dough in here. And we're going to try, and I'm going to see if I can make some heart-shaped cookies that way. Because as you know, cookie dough, when you bake it, you have to have a mold if you want heart cookies. Otherwise, they're just going to spread out. They taste fine, but it doesn't really work for heart cookies. So I'll see. I think I'll be chatting for a few more minutes. Move this into the sink here, and then great, get more batter all over my fingers here. But that's why I'm getting it into the sink. And then we will move on to the next step and make ourselves a cookie. But as I said, we are here as well for any comments and questions as well. Because, yeah, as I mentioned already, between the enameled cast iron, which I very much enjoy, and what we have here is, in fact, this Lodge heart-shaped cast iron pan, which is maybe a little, I'm not sure. I think it might be maybe a tiny bit bigger than their Christmas cookie skillet, but not much, meaning that you would be able to get one, well, small to decent sized cookie with it. Of course, I'm not using the store bought cookie batter. Again, I bought this pan at like a flea market or something. And anyway, we all know anybody who has bought those Walmart cookie kits, including the ones that they're selling now for Thanksgiving Day, the cookie mix is terrible. It also comes with brownie mix, which is terrible. So it's much better to make your own cookie mix. And besides, homemade cookie dough is even easier to make. Let me put this in the sink than that cake batter that we made there. I've made a number of cookies, and they've all turned out fine, especially because they're so easy. But as I said, all I'm doing is simply placing these cookie cutters into the pan, and we will see how that turns out. Wally has cast iron cookies for two, comes with 2 hard pans. I'm not sure. I understand what you mean by for two comes with 2 hard pans. Um, Oh, you mean they're selling these things in 2 packs now? Well, that would be interesting in that case. Okay. Yes, and hello as well. Can never pronounce this. LT's cat as well. 40 degrees today. Well, be careful then with your ice fishing as well. It was an excellent crappie bite today. Well, congratulations on that as well. Hello, roadside assistance guy. Glad to see you here as well. A 2 pack, huh? Okay. As I said, if anybody wants to have a discussion about regular cast iron, okay, so here's a question for you. As I said, the Valentine's Day is coming, and a lot of people, well, you do some special cooking in cast iron because, well, that's what we're here for, of course. I mean, you could, of course, just take your significant other out to eat on Valentine's Day, but you know how expensive it is to go out to eat these days, and I dare say just about any restaurant with reservations is probably already sold out for Valentine's Day, which means that comes to the other alternative, which of course is doing your own cooking. One popular thing that they often do, as you know, is that the meat markets and the supermarkets they are making heart-shaped steaks that you can, of course, simply fry up. I did one of those last year, and it didn't turn out that bad at all. Hello, handsome stone, cooking real late dinner, eggs and pork roll in the BSRs. Nice. Cynthia Wesley, I don't eat out ever. Yeah, I don't blame you because again, we know how expensive that is. Okay, I think I can put this aside. Let me carefully get these things out. There we go. Make it as easy to clean up as possible. Get this thing out of the way. And I guess we will work on part 2 here, which means I'll get this going. And let us do some cookie mix, where fortunately, once again, I think this bowl is way too big because there's actually 2 cups of flour in here. So, oh well. Yeah, because I've already mixed up the dry ingredients now to make a big chocolate chip cookie. Cookie dough is so easy to make. It means all I have to do now is change my phone down to, here it is. That's my other recipe, which I call giant cookie in cast iron. So we've all the dry ingredients here for making your own homemade cookie dough is simply all-purpose flour, baking soda, and kosher salt, and that's really about it. Whereas meanwhile, we are going to be mixing in a second bowl. And did I forget the second bowl? Yes, I did. Always forget something. Excuse me 1 second while I quickly dig out another bowl here. This won't take long, though. I'm sure you heard that. Just have to be careful here. Glass bowls. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, from here, all we have to do now is put together our wet ingredients, which means we have our softened butter. Yes, I did actually prepare this in advance as well. I tried to get my prep work done as much as possible for this video tonight. So we've got softened butter here. And yes, softened, not melted. Okay, there we go. Yeah, once again, I'm getting it all over myself, but what else is new? Okay, softened butter. And to that, we add, okay, a combination of brown sugar and granulated sugar. We have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Thing with making cookie mix is that it depends on whether you want a chewy cookie or a cakey cookie. And most people prefer the chewy cookie, which means you actually use more brown sugar than white sugar, which is what we have here. And then for that, we throw in one more egg, which we have right here. Careful. Yeah. Okay. That's why I don't like white eggs. But there was really no choice. The eggs were free, actually. I had a coupon. And then finally, a little bit more vanilla extract. This one is another 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. If I was using one of those tiny little bottles of store-bought vanilla extract, I think this is about all we would have for your $4 or $5. So, but as you can see, I still have plenty here. In fact, I replenished it just tonight. So there we go. There is our vanilla extract. And now we take this mess and mix it all together. Let me try once again to get a good view for you kind folks here. Honey Badger, my ex-wife used to like me to make corned beef and cabbage for V-Day. I still make it. Well, that's not bad. Any excuse for corned beef and cabbage is a good one, if you ask me. Now, she probably now has McDonald's. Okay, yeah, I understand where you're coming from there. Personal marriage stuff, I'm not going to get into because, well, let's just say, been there, done that. Nonetheless, I have very much, I mean, doing these dishes here for Valentine's Day is easy. It's inexpensive, and by putting this much effort into it, I mean, it really makes it something special too. Because yes, it is possible to go out for dinner and spend a lot of money, and sometimes you may remember that. On the other hand, homemade Valentine's Day dish is probably something you may very well remember for the rest of your life. And as you can see, it did not take long to mix this together, not at all. And that's how easy it is to prepare cookie dough. This is the wet part. And then from here, it's simply a matter of mixing together the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients, and then come the chocolate chips. So nothing to it. There we go. Now the wet goes into the dry. Yeah, I think I definitely should have used a smaller bowl. Oh well, it'll work. I don't recall reading anything about how a recipe can be changed by using too large of a bowl. It just means I have more space to mix it. Come on. Okay, there we go. One more and one more. And let's do it. Just fold it all together, I guess. It'll work. If I don't throw it all over the place. The amount I mix here, by the way, I have a recipe on my website. The amount I mix here is enough to make a 10-inch cookie, meaning that you use a 10-inch or number 8 size cast iron skillet for it. If you actually spread it out, you can use the same amount in a 12-inch cast iron skillet. That just means you get a somewhat thinner cookie, and there's nothing wrong with that. So either way, it should work just fine. There we go. It's already starting to come together. And anyway, the point here is that this is dough. It's not batter, so it's not going to become liquid the way, well, the way cake batter does. Okay. I have to keep an eye on that as well. It's 10 minutes to 9. I believe I put that in just about 20, no, not even 20 past, maybe 25 past. So that means it's been about 25 minutes, meaning that in about another 15 minutes, I should, well, and maybe even less, I should definitely check that cake. So now that we are at this point, let's do this. Once the dough starts getting very thick and mixed together and hard to continue using the ladle for, now is when we get in and start using our hands. This is the fun part. because it will start coming together. Here we go. There we go. Like I said, it is indeed starting to come together. Definitely should have used a smaller bowl, though. My fault. Well, nonetheless, just need to be patient. And it looks like some of this is, again, getting all over my hands. Still, there we go. And I'm not just saying that to try to make excuses. It's coming together here. Once again, just need some patience, as Guns N' Roses said. Ironic that they sang that song considering how little patience they had in their day. But there we go. Because now that we've done that, aha, do believe we are getting cookie dough. Let's try to get a good view here. There we go, cookie dough. So far, so good. Which means now that we've done that, there is something missing from this cookie dough that we need to add. And 3 guesses what that should be. Hopefully your 20 minutes were better spent. Yeah. Hello, Janet Batista. My parents were married 61 years. Oh, well, congratulations until your dad passed on. Well, my condolences for that. And yeah, I lost my mom. I know how that feels too. Okay. So far, so good, which means now we get to bring out a couple of things. One would be some chopped chocolate. This really kicks it up a notch. And yes, I am going to be adding chocolate chips, but I also took the time to actually chop up some milk chocolate. And I'm going to be mixing that in with semi-sweet chocolate chips to make this really something chocolatey and something special. There we go. It's already starting to look more like cookie dough. Little by little. Okay, the rum. Yeah, I did use rum in the vanilla extract, if that's what you're talking about. Okay, so far so good. That's part 1, and now comes part 2. This is still too high, isn't it? That's a little better. Here comes part 2. Okay, this is all puffed up. There we go. Is that enough chocolate? Who says there's such a thing as too much chocolate? Nonetheless, we are definitely getting somewhere. Good night, Captain Kirk, as well. You can use those heart-shaped cookie cutters for clovers on St. Patrick's Day. That's certainly true. You only need 4 of them. So, nonetheless, I apologize for the lack of cast iron in the last few minutes, but that is about to change. So I hope you folks don't mind. As you can see, I've just been busy putting together some cookie dough because there we are. I think I may have actually thrown in a few too much chocolate chips, but that's all right. Any extra chocolate chips? Well, you know what we will just have to do with them. But still, here we are with a pile of homemade cookie dough. Hand over the chocolate and no one gets hurt. Okay, having done that, let's break out some cast iron, shall we? That would be the Walmart cookie skillet and a Lodge number 5 cast iron skillet, which, as you can see, as the size goes, that's why I think this is maybe a little bit bigger than the Walmart Christmas cookie skillet. Just sprinkle the extras over the top. We could certainly do that. All right, that means I better dig out that Crisco once again. Where did I put it? Oh, yeah, it's staring me in the face. Duh. However, before I do, I've got to wash my hands again. And, cleanliness in the kitchen, that's very important. So, do this. Quickly dry my hands off again. All right. Hello, everybody. Huggy Bear. Nice to see you as well. I do hope you folks are doing some cast iron cooking for Thanksgiving, for Valentine's Day, and yes, as I said, if you have special plans for Valentine's Day that you're willing to share on the internet, that is, to a whole bunch of strangers, please feel free to comment. I am very much interested in hearing what you folks are going to be doing on Valentine's Day, whether it's cooking or going out or otherwise. At this time, and I'm not fishing for pity when I'm saying this, at this time, I find myself, I am, well, still single. So, what's more, since Valentine's Day is a Tuesday, it's going to be a work night for me. But as I said, I am not asking for anybody to say, oh, I'm sorry, because I'm fine. I mean, I'm 55 years old. I've spent most of my life here, so I'm doing just fine. And I've had some emotional discussions, but those were several years ago. I have been doing just fine on that at that end. I'm quite happy right now, just doing this for your benefit, having fun here on YouTube Live. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'll be enjoying myself on Tuesday night as best as I can. Also, I'm going to see friends this weekend. And I do intend to prepare some Valentines for them. So everything is fine. There we go. Greased up these pans. Now that means, actually, into these. I've never done this before, so I figure should not take any chances. Probably grease the inside of these cookie cutters. So I better be careful. I feel like there is a sharp edge here there's a sharp edge on the inside of this thing. So I better watch what I'm doing here. There's one. Well, yeah, obviously they're sharp. Oh, yeah, they are sharp. They're meant to be cookie cutters. What do you expect? So you're really not supposed to run your fingers around the edges of these things the way I'm doing right now. I had better watch myself, and I really don't want to have one of those bloopers where, oh dear, I seem to have cut myself. So I will just be nice and careful. That's about all I can say. There's two, and here comes number 3. Because, yeah, obviously these things were really not designed to be baking molds, but that's really what it is going to be tonight. And here's hoping it works. All right, so far so good. It only occurs to me now that maybe I should have gotten myself one of those vintage heart cookie pans. You've seen them. They look like they have about 6 or 7 hearts in them. Okay, maybe I'll have one by next year, and then we can see what that turns out to be. But nonetheless, here we are. And actually, I'm going to have to wait for that cake to come out of the oven before I can put these into the oven. So, Louis J, we're about 1 hour in. Nice to see you as well. I like what you've been doing on your channel as well, too, Louis J. Louis J. Cast Iron Cooking. You've been doing some really interesting stuff with cast iron. I'm quite impressed. So thank you very much for showing up. But right now we are busy preparing some cast iron Valentine cookies. And what I'm using right now, of course, is the uh, Asian made, yes, but this is the Walmart heart skillet that you have seen for sale at Walmart. Again, it usually comes with cookie mix or brownie mix, but we know all too well that brownie mix and that cookie mix is terrible. That's why we're making a home batch of homemade um, cookie dough instead. And yes, you're right. Look at this. We spread the rest of them over the top. In fact, I can even put in a little bit more. There we go. And that's one. And once the cake comes out of the oven, this will go into the oven. Actually, I'm going to have to lower the temperature, but that won't be a problem. These are small pans, so I'm betting those cookies probably won't need to take more than what, 15, 20 minutes maybe? And here's the other thing. As I said, here we go. Here comes the experiment. I'm going to see how well it turns out to use these cookie cutters as heart-shaped baking molds. Gotta press it down. I hope it doesn't rise and push these molds up so that it ends up still as something not heart-shaped. But anyway, there's one. Here's two. Do this carefully. Like I said, as I found out, these cookie cutters, yeah, again, they do have kind of sharp edges. Not razor sharp, but sharp enough in that I had to be careful when greasing these down. Did not want to cut myself. I still don't want to cut myself. So there's two. And I'm packing the dough down, not too hard, but I'm definitely packing it down. But then that's why there's baking soda in the cookie dough so that it will rise. Nonetheless, there's plenty of dough left too. In fact, I should probably dig out a regular skillet and make a big cookie to go with the rest of this dough here. So that's three. Let's throw in a few more of these extra chocolate chips. There's one, there's two, and here's three. Not good enough. There we go. And actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to quickly take my phone and take a couple of pictures of this just so that we'll have before and after. If it turns out to be success, we'll have a before and after. let's put it that way. So, all right, that means change this to photo mode and close this a little bit. There we go. And we will go from there. Let's take a look in the oven, by the way. Oh, holy cow. Uh, I think you should see what is happening in the oven. Let's turn this around if we can. See if we can get any kind of a view at all. Did I mention that recipe rise is terrific? So, yeah, in fact, I'm worried that when it comes out of the oven, it's probably going to fall. Well, we will just have to do the best we can. Anyway, and hello, I hope Mrs. Lewis is fine and pray the kids are better. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that they're not feeling well, unfortunately. Turner Fowler, I use my number 10 smithy for most of my baking. It makes a wonderful baking skillet. It is very thick and heavy. That's definitely a good way to go. I agree. Let me see. At this point, 9:05. I had better actually take this out and check it carefully. Like I said, I don't want this cake to collapse. Nonetheless, the timing is about as good as it can be. Move down here. Better get out my probe thermometer so that I'll be ready. And I better get out my gloves. Where did I put the other one? Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah, I am quite happy to have these silicone gloves. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Carefully. Holy cow. Oh, it is definitely not ready yet. This thing is still jiggly, unfortunately. So, yeah, this thing is going to have to go back. Maybe another 10 minutes. Just have to be careful there. I mean, that thing is still definitely liquid on the inside. Nonetheless, yeah, you're going to have to trim the dome and eat it. Yes, I am. No question about that. Okay. I burn my hands all the time. Been thinking about the UGG glove. Yeah, these I received as a Christmas present, thank goodness. They are silicone oven gloves from Cuisinart. So, so far, I've been using them, as you know, since Christmas. So we're talking like a little more than a month, but I've definitely gotten some use out of them. And yeah, they have definitely saved me from burning my hands. No question about that. Just let the cake rest a few minutes. That thing is jiggly like Jello. I'm not so sure that it's that done yet. That's why I'm going to okay, so that means it in within 10 minutes at about 9:15. So that's my opinion. Anyway, yeah, the wife is good and the kiddos are taking antibiotics. Well, you guys just get some rest. That's the best I could say there. I can turn off this thermometer. Meanwhile, since I've got 10 minutes to kill, let's dig something out. Oh, I know. Of course. Why didn't I think of this? Does this look familiar? Yeah, it's only the star of a short video on YouTube that has. I can't believe that short video is about to break 2 million hits. I mean, I am astounded, and I don't know why that video has just gone so viral there. I mean, I've been posting short videos all the time, as you know, and they typically yeah, I mean, I can't complain about the fact that they seem to be getting anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 hits for each video, which is very nice. I'm really not complaining about that. But why did that one become such an enormous hit? I mean, what did I do right? And actually, I don't know if I should even take credit for it. Probably something to do with YouTube's algorithm, which is why I have not been able to replicate that, and I don't know if I ever will. Still, it certainly helped to bring some attention and increase the membership of my channel, and I'm thanking everybody for that. Because the other thing I'm really having time to believe, I'm getting close to 50,000 subscribers on my channel. And it really came as a shock to realize that. So I can only thank everybody so much. Everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, that you've taken the time to do this. And I hope I've done my best to entertain all of you, because really that's the whole point, entertaining you with with all of this. Yes, I do hope it's educational as well, but I've always said my real main purpose is having fun with cast iron, probably more than anything else. And because I'm a cast iron geek, that's why I've done things like historical research into identifying cast iron and other fun things like that. It's fun, and I hope it continues to be fun, to the point where, well, who knows? I mean, maybe someday, maybe in a couple of years or so, maybe I'll even break 100,000 subscribers. I mean, I'm just shocked and very grateful and humbled that people have enjoyed my channel that much. So thank you very much to everybody. I also am having a hard time to believe that my channel, really, I've been running this and doing these videos here for now for 11, 12 years. No, 11 years. So, yeah, I've seen some good channels come and go, and everybody has their own personal reasons for it. I am not knocking anyone. Um, I'm just doing it because it's fun, and I really don't have much more to say about that. So, yeah. Um, Yeah, it didn't make you a better cook, no, but they made you a cast iron owner. Well, thank you very much. That's about all I could ask. I mean, I've said enough times, I even said tonight again, that I'm not a professional chef. Do not pretend to be. A lot of these things I'm trying for the first time, like making these cookies in these cookie cutters, for instance, because it's fun and I'm having fun. That's really more than I can say for anything else. And even so, I'm hoping I've been able to at least impart some of the knowledge that I've learned about cast iron, because that also is really grateful. What I really love is when I hear that somebody has tried one of my recipes and especially that they liked it. I mean, that is, I feel, about the best compliment I can get. So thank you, everybody, very much for that. All right. Anyway, better cast iron owner. Gone in and out several times. Well, I'm sorry about that weather. I guess. Yeah. Um, yeah. I have no idea when I'll reach that milestone, but it will happen when it happens. So thank you very much. Anyway, here we are taking the BSR cornbread skillet, and yeah, as you can see, I am laying out some cookie dough into it. I'm trying not to overstuff it. And once this is done, hopefully the cake will be done, I hope. And we will see how that all turns out. Okay, a little bit here, a little bit there. I think I might need a little bit more, in fact. Yeah, it looks like I do have enough dough to fill all eight of these. Okay, all eight of these wedges on this pan. So this is going to be an interesting sight, having this full of cookies. Hmm. And once again, I can only hope it turns out well. All right, let's do a couple more here, and a little bit more here. And right about now, I actually regret I don't have any kids present in the kitchen. I just dropped some of this on the floor. Nuts. I don't have any kids present here in the kitchen because, well, again, besides being able to lick the bowl, here's the part where they would have been able to nibble on some cookie dough. Well, there's always another time. I do have a friend who lives in Oneonta to the north of Binghamton, and her son is just passing 6 years old. So yeah, he's already been in my kitchen. So and I think he's enjoyed himself. And more or less, there we go. Need a few more of these chocolate chips as quickly as I can. Spread them out. All right, so far so good. And now I will wash my hands. Wash my hands again. Ah, that's the thing about baking, of course, but can't be helped. Which, of course, is why they usually use gloves in professional bakeries. Which this is not, as you can tell. Just a guy having fun, and I am having fun too. Now, let me once again grab my phone, take a quick shot of this as best as I can. More centered here. There we go. Nice. Okay. Move this out of the way. And it's definitely about time to check that cake. Which means put this over here, get out the gloves again. And see what happens this time. Crossing my fingers that the cake didn't collapse. It did not. Ugh. Oh man. Yeah, this thing definitely, holy cow. I do believe it may still be liquid on the inside though. But yeah, let's take another look at this, if you don't mind. Yeah, this thing definitely rose. There's certainly no question about that. I'm sure it's almost like a lava cake at this point. Let me carefully. Oh yeah, look at this. This is still way too soft on the inside. Nuts. And the temperature, meanwhile, shows that it is only about 173, 172 degrees. So, well, it did show it at that. So, yeah, like it or not, I still have to put this back into the oven. Hopefully, that means I can only say that I don't think the cookies are going to be done by the end of this live video, but well, we will see. Anyway, besides, I haven't done enough talking about cast iron yet so far. I've been too busy preparing this, which means so definitely now is a time as well for some discussion. I know some people might call it time filler, but at the same time, that's really what we're here for. As I said, to have some fun. Oh, look at this, a heart-shaped impression. In fact, that hot pan made a heart-shaped impression on the on the cutting board there. Oh, the cake definitely does smell wonderful. And yeah, when I just had 2,000 subscribers, well, yeah, thank you very much, Turner Fowler. That's again very, very flattering. And thank you very much. And I can only hope, well, I hope my videos have improved as well. I'll do a short on how the cookies did. Oh, definitely. I would very much like to do that. Hi, Trouble. Hi, nice to see you again. I realize you've been busy napping like always. So, but anyway, as I said, really that's the whole point. Again, Valentine's Day is next week, and I'm sure folks like Louis J and others are probably planning to do some special Valentine's Day cooking or baking or both. And why not? Whether or not if it means you're just going to have a typical evening. Um, and just make something typical or even order out. Or if you do have something special, like as I mentioned, they have those heart shaped steaks. Hey, Trouble. They have those heart shaped steaks at most of, oh, yeah, he's moving the camera right now. Come here, Trouble. Come here. Heart shaped steaks at those, actually, let me move this up this way. At the, in the meat counter at the supermarket. Trouble, come here. Come here, Trouble. Come here. There we go. Yep. Yeah. There we go. So, like I said, I made one of those heart-shaped steaks. It was last year. It was a Delmonico, and that was pretty good. It was a very nice steak. Yes. I'm not sure if it was a world-class steak. I don't know if it's because of the way I cooked it or just because um, I'm actually getting used to having pretty good steaks. We're probably going to have chicken and rice with broccoli, and there's nothing certainly wrong with that. So, yeah, it's just a Hallmark holiday. Yeah, you could definitely say that, Andrew. I'm not actually disagreeing with you on that. There are a lot of arguments that you notice, among other things. This Valentine's Day is about the only one I know that where church, for instance, does not have a special mass for that day. But I'm not going to get into religion. But yeah, that's just more indication that this is really just one of those days designated as something special. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's as good an excuse as any. Um, yeah, hi, Trouble. So, and that's really what I'm doing. I'm just using it as an excuse to do some cooking tonight because, as I said, again, it's just a work day for me. So, nonetheless, okay, yeah. Talk about preheating the skillet for cornbread versus preheating the cookie wedges. Oh yes, well there we go. Cornbread, of course, has a different consistency, so that's the best I can say there. Which is why they've been preheating the pan for cornbread. Oh, hi, Trouble. What, you're not done yet? They've been preheating the pans to have nonstick cornbread. And actually, these cookies here that I've made They do have to cool off, but once they do so, I've found they've been pretty non-stick as well. More than once, I've just made a huge cookie, an old Stumpy, a big 15-inch wide cookie. And when it first comes out of the oven, granted, it is way too sticky to cut then, and then it just falls apart. But after maybe, oh, I'd say probably an hour or two, then it's solid enough to really cut. And it's usually it's pretty non-stick in that you can take a whole piece out and it won't stick to the pan. A couple of times I have left the cookie out overnight and it has become hard as a rock. That's the sad truth about homemade cookies here, in that they are very perishable. If you don't have them right away or within a few hours, they will unfortunately harden and become crumbly and, yeah, hard as a rock. Still delicious though. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just have to understand, if you want a chewy cookie, you have to have your homemade cookies fairly soon, like maybe within an hour or two after it comes out of the oven. Otherwise, you're going to have these chocolate chip cookie bricks. You're cooking or too under the weather. Yeah. The old pans are the best of friends. Well, that's one way to say it. If you're in love, every day should be Valentine's Day. If you're in love, every day is Valentine's Day. So, yes. Yeah, you can microwave them for 15 seconds. Yes, you can. Shorts are a bigger audience now. Yeah, tell me about it. If YouTube doesn't leave the others, have the others out, like the ones who enjoy full tutorial or live stream. Yeah, I know. I'm actually finding that rather aggravating. In that, if you check the view counts and the hit counts on my channel here, I put the effort. I put the effort into doing these long form videos, and these days I'm only getting like a few hundred hits, maybe cracking 1,000 views on any long form video I have on my channel. And again, I'm approaching 50,000 subscribers. Meanwhile, the shorts I'm making seem to be getting an average of anywhere between 1 to 2,000 to 2,500 hits. So I'm getting twice as many views essentially on these shorts than I am in the long form videos. And yeah, I do find it frustrating because I put a lot of effort into these long form videos. I'm not going to stop doing them though, because as I said, I'm proud of them. And really, again, I've been doing it more as a hobby than anything else. So I'm not doing it so much for revenue. So weird that I 50K, but there are only 100 of us here now for the live. Well, yeah, I can't judge anyone. As I mentioned, my channel is 12 years old. So it's entirely possible a number of people could have subscribed years ago and just simply never left. And maybe they left YouTube too. So who knows? Nonetheless, a lot of my subscribers have been within the last couple of years, which is very nice. Best way to say I love you is the small things together. Sunrise is the best, is best when shared with a cup of coffee and your love. Oh, definitely. And on Tuesday morning, here's hoping that you do that. So, okay. True story, Huggy Bear. Get in. Oh, yeah, I can make the 1998 National Cornbread Festival winning online. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that one up. Yeah, we're in the 25th year, and in fact, when did the National Cornbread Festival start? If this is the 26th year, then that would have to mean it was 1996. So yeah, well, that's certainly something to consider. Those of you who may know some of my more strange habits that I've talked about online, you'll know 1998 is a very special year for me, especially since 1998 hasn't arrived yet. I'll get into that some other time. I'm starting to smell the cake. It's definitely definitely getting more of a scent from that cake now than I was before. So I think I had better check it again. Okay, let's move this aside one more time, because you know what the rule is. If you can smell it, it's done. And that's what I'm about to find out. So let's turn this thermometer on again. And this will be like attempt number 3 for the cake. Let's get this going. Again, I love these silicone gloves. And we will try again. That's all we can do. This thing has not collapsed though. Looks still a little jiggly. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This thing's got to be at least an inch over the top of the pan. So yeah, it's definitely rising. Anyway, let's try this one more time. Oh yeah, still way liquid. Meanwhile, the temperature here is now down. Now we're only at like 150 degrees. It was 172 before. That's odd. Is my oven? No, I shouldn't be having any problem with the oven. Nonetheless, I can only keep it going. I'm sorry to say. I apologize. I was expecting this thing to be done. Okay, note to self. I'm going to stick, meanwhile, after this, I'm going to stick with preheating this. I'm thinking maybe I should have done this the way I did my Bear cast iron. I should have preheated this to 425 and then let it bake. So we will just have to go from there because, we're already at this point, we're approaching an hour and a half and this cake is still not done yet. So this is the first time this has happened. I have made this cake before. I'm a little surprised that this is happening and I'm really, uh, maybe, I don't know. Well, I can't explain it, but let me see. I would consider putting aluminum foil over the top of the cake, make a tent to prevent burning while the inside cooks. Okay, I will take your advice for that. And let me very quickly dig out the aluminum foil. And okay, aluminum foil. And this means something else. Because, when I take out a sheet of aluminum foil, somebody else has it. Aluminum foil has a different meaning for somebody in my household. Like the little guy who just was just over my shoulder a few minutes ago. Okay, let's oh yeah, that's hot. Very carefully. Ouch. Come on, try not to burn myself, which I'm doing. And okay, I'm putting this over the handles here. Ow, 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 ow. Damn it. All right, let's get this on. There we go. Very carefully press this down. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Here and here. There we go. There we go. Let's get another shot of that. And we will give it one more try. Because I've made a number of cakes, and I have to say, this is the first time this has happened. So I'm a little confused and concerned, but all we can do is keep on going. And let me check as well. Yeah, definitely the flame is on. I mean, I just tested my stovetop and it's working just fine. So so I don't think it's the oven. And we will continue from there. My thought is that where you're used to use the electric oven, you bake in, the gas oven has the burners on the bottom, which may cause some baking differences. I would set your Dutch oven at a slightly higher level. Well, there's certainly a possibility there. It's kind of too late for that, so all I can do is wait for it. Yeah, the cake is way too thick. It takes much longer to bake through. You may very well be right as well. I told you I'm not a professional baker. I mean, I have made quite a few cakes in the cast iron bundt pan, which of course is a different shape and gives a different consistency of cake. Whereas I've done relatively few of these cakes in a traditional pan where you simply have to grease and flour it. So this is definitely something of a learning experience for me. So yeah, here we go again. What else is new? Here comes the chaos. There's really nothing else I could say. Oh, I've no doubt about that. Even Val, even if it collapses and just becomes cobbler, it is still going to taste great, yes. But I was really hoping I could have revealed the cake, and I didn't even have a chance to put these in the oven. So, and yet we are getting on in time here because, as I've said before, this is a week. This is a weeknight. Well, I'm going to keep going for just a few more minutes. And I'm not asking anybody to change their schedule because, again, I realize it's getting late and it is a work night. Nonetheless, practice makes perfect. Yes, exactly. So, and you've got to go, Elsie's cat. My internet is out. Okay, I certainly understand. You have yourself a good evening then. So make a short. Oh, yeah, I will definitely have to do that. I made a cake and it turned out to be a paver out by my porch. Oh, I get it. The fluted cake pan has a center punch out, which helps distribute it. Yes, it does. Oh, I'm very aware of that, and I very much agree with it. So, yeah, I guess all we can do is I'm going to have to make up for this and make a special bundt cake, especially since next week is February 15th, which is the day after Thanksgiving, which is the day after Valentine's Day. A couple of things. February 15th is a birthday for at least two people I know, including my brother, no less. But I also realized February 15th is, in fact, the 6 month anniversary of my new home. So it's been 6 months here in my new kitchen, and we will have to and I'm going to have to do something to celebrate next week. Hmm. Repave the patio. Well, not next week. I mean, it's still too cold right now. For starters, there's still snow out, although with it, where can you purchase a heart-shaped cast iron skillet? This came from Walmart. This is the Valentine's Day cookie kit, cast iron cookie kit that they sell at Walmart. You know the kind. It's just like those $5, now $6 baking kits that they have at Christmas. And it's pretty much the same thing. It comes with a cookie mix that is terrible, or it comes with a brownie mix that is terrible. Really, and I'm not kidding. Anybody who has tried that cookie mix from the Walmart cookies, skillet cookies, they will all tell you the same thing. So what you can do is at some other time of the year, if you get to manage to score one of these pans for $1 or $2, it's probably the best way to do it, and that's how I did it. Of course, you have yourself a nice cast iron pan, and then just do what we're doing here: make your own cookie dough and fill it up. This one, on the other hand, is a Lodge number 5, or it's a modern day Lodge 8-inch cast iron skillet, where I just took some metal cookie cutters, put them in the pan, and I filled them with cookie dough because I want to see if that works successfully. And finally, this one, of course, is the BSR uh, cornbread skillet, the famous pan that has been around for 60 years. And in fact, this one is 60 years. Yes, 6 months. Yeah, tell me about it. And there's still so much I have to do in my home. I mean, I am still about 95% unpacked, but I'm still very slowly acquiring furniture. I just got a new rug to lay down in the office studio upstairs, and I'm going to have to slowly work on doing that myself. So yeah, there's a lot of projects, and in fact, in about 1 month, when the weather finally starts getting warm, I'm going to build or produce some kind of a cat door so that the cats can finally go outside and explore. I know Trouble is desperate to go outside these days, and I'm telling him, yes, when the weather gets warmer, that's when I promise I am going to let them go out and explore. Okay, but we are definitely getting along in time too. That's the thing. So anybody who cares to head out, you can certainly do so. It's 9:34. I'm thinking I should probably do this for maybe about another 10-15 minutes anyway, whether or not this is finished, whether or not that cake is done. I do apologize for how the cake turned out because, as I said, I was expecting it to be done like in about 45 minutes or so. So I am rather surprised as well. And yes, you've already given me reasons why this cake has been taking so long. And thank you very much for your advice on that. That would be an $80 breakfast for those without chickens. Charge up phone. Um, Leap year or born on the 28th? I was almost a leap year baby. Well, the leap year babies are special. Let's just put it that way. Next year is a leap year. Yeah, you know that because the leap year is also a presidential election year. Anyway, Favorite Huggy Bear, favorite vintage cast iron company. Mine used to be BSR, still amazing, but something about an old Griswold stands out to me. Well, everybody has their own personal taste. Yes, I have several Griswold skillets as well. I still have a love for BSR, and I mean, you saw only within the last couple of weeks I managed to acquire a BSR Red Mountain Dutch oven, which I am still really I've put it through its paces, but I still have a lot of cooking to do in that too, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, yeah, I hope everybody is enjoying the live. I mean, granted, we do still have 92 people in here tonight, and thank you very much for that. Now, tonight is not a leap year, no. It is just going to be a standard 28-day February. Okay. And hope everybody stays safe. Shout out to Carla and hello as well to Richard Lusk. Again, nice to see familiar faces tonight. Nonetheless, um, I'm just barely beginning to smell something, but I'm not expecting that the temperature of that cake jumped 40 degrees in just a few minutes, unfortunately. So I'm still kind of skeptical as to whether the cake is going to be done within the next few minutes or so. Nonetheless, I guess the advantage, though, of cooking slowly like this is that, again, the cake should not dry out and it should not burn, which is, those are both two good things. Yes. What are your plans for the game this weekend, everybody? Oh, yeah. How could we forget? The Super Bowl is this coming Sunday. Well, I mean, of course, if your team is not in the Super Bowl, well, it's not quite as exciting. But yeah, people still do their Super Bowl Sundays nonetheless. So in my instance, I am going out, as I said, and having seen friends on Saturday night. And I'm going to a show as well with some friends who are in a band. So I'll probably be recovering on Sunday. But meanwhile, Sunday evening, chances are I'm probably going to be here doing some cooking. But again, I don't want to interrupt anybody's Super Bowl plans because, yeah, Super Bowl cooking is very special for everybody. Typically, a lot of people make things like, the usual wings and dip, but there's nothing wrong with that either. I'm a New Englander, which means that, as you know, as a former resident of Massachusetts, the team for me was the New England Patriots, who just went through their great dynasty. And yes, I know they've collapsed, but yeah, what can I say? But each time the New England Patriots went to the Super Bowl, I made sure to cook up a huge pot of Boston baked beans to celebrate. So that's one thing. If your team is in the Super Bowl, cook up your local home dish for your state, and I guess offer as much support as you can. So, drunk? No, I am not drunk. I have not been drinking. That's for sure. Another life would be great on Sunday. Another life, I'm kind of missing that. Oh, okay, hot wings in cast iron skillet and then in the oven. All right, I am probably going to, no interest in the Super Bowl in this house. Yeah, and I know you spelled it different, but I'm just saying bowl to be nice. I think I'm probably going to be shutting down here so that I can be less anxious about that cake. But I will be sure to provide photos to everybody of when the cake actually comes out of the oven. My estimate, anyway, is it might yet be at least another 15 minutes or so. So I don't want to keep anybody here too long. And then from there, of course, we've got cookies to do. So nonetheless, let's well, I can only thank everybody for showing up, and I'm sorry for the difficulty tonight. I mean, I don't like having to apologize so much, but still, I still enjoyed myself putting together that cake and putting together this cookie dough. And there, again, I'm hoping at least there's an idea of what someone may want to do this weekend for Valentine's Day. Because, yeah, there you go. Make yourself a nice big cookie in your cast iron skillet, whether or not it's heart shaped, and enjoy it with your kids. Next week, as I mentioned, is well, again, kind of be celebrating my house. So I'm going to see if I can say something about that as well. But we will see what happens next week. And besides, there really weren't any disasters tonight, so I can't really complain about that. We will just continue as it is next week. So thank you very much to everybody for sticking around still. I hope you enjoyed yourself as always. I do my best to be entertaining, which is why I've been talking pretty much nonstop for the last hour and a half. And we will do this all over again next week. So thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. Have a good evening, folks. Get some sleep. It is only a Wednesday. And once again, yeah, please put the cookies in as soon as I can, as soon as that cake comes out of the oven. And I will see you all next Wednesday, folks. Have a good evening.